International Development, the co-host of the event, and I've been asked to moderate the question and answer period. And in the usual habit of moderators, I'm going to impose a question of my own, maybe before we throw it open to the audience. You alluded, very gently, as is appropriate perhaps to start, that the advice that African governments have been getting is not always the best. Could you share with us the worst advice you ever got? Maybe you want to say names, maybe you don't, but certainly in the course of being the head of a very complex and difficult situation, you've gotten some very bad advice over the time, because many of the people in the room might someday be in the audience of pretending they're experts in giving advice, and it might be a cautionary tale to hear the worst advice you've ever gotten.
And if it was from Lance, don't say so.
I'll maintain the position of being polite, so I'll try. But in fact, in our case in Rwanda, or personally, I think we've got less of bad advice than many other countries on the continent. For a simple reason that we've been able to reject bad advice. So, but it has been there. And it comes from this notion that if you look at my country or some other countries on our continent, we've been getting a lot of assistance, official development aid from different countries. And this has been characterized by saying, well, I'm giving you the money. You will mainly do what I want or the way I want it done. There has been very little room even to allow a conversation and say, this is what I think. Actually, you are not supposed to be thinking of what to do. Somebody is supposed to be giving you the money and think for you as what to do. This is something we have gone through many years. We had a very tough period in my country, especially from 97 onwards. Well, the 94 to that period was just chaos, but then when we started doing some of the things for our development, that's when this came in. But we insisted on a number of things. In fact, we tried to give those who were advising us good advice ourselves. And we were trying to tell them, we say, look, we need and want your money. And happily, you are willing to give it to us. But there is a condition here for us as well. At least can we have a minimum in terms of a conversation? Can we talk to each other and say, these are our priorities, these are our needs, this is the way we think we should be doing things. But we are able to and ready to listen to your views as well. And we could find a common ground and move forward. Many rejected that firsthand. But one or two of these countries were able to listen and said, okay, maybe that's not a bad thing. We even went ahead and said, we want to reassure you first. Our belief is that you are giving us your money because you want us to invest it where you even think it's important for you, even as the one giving us the money, even if it is not your country, but you have certain values, and we wanted to reassure them that we share actually these values. But you said, so let's have a memorandum of understanding. If you want to bring your money, and you tell us where you really think is your priority, and maybe we also tell you what our priorities are, and we can have a checklist and agree that these are priorities. If you and we should insist also on predictability. If you tell me you're going to give me $100 million, you should give me $100 million. If I tell you, if we agree that we are going to put this money in education and health and build schools or put it in agriculture, we will you also expect us actually to put that money there and not to do some other things. And for a period, say, of 3 years, once we have been doing what we agreed to do together, after that, we should have agreed a third party who will come and do the audit and say, well, you promised 100, but you brought 50. So what happened? Or tell Rwanda and say, what you promised you would put it, build so many schools and hospitals and do this and train different people. But we find this money went to maybe defense or some other things we thought were priorities. So by that, we are able to check each other. And therefore, I want to say that I think we were able to get good advice from each other. And the money, of course. I'm very conscious of the fact that sooner or later we all come to, for one reason or another, not be there. So
Harvard's got good mandatory retirement, so not quite as true at Harvard.
So what we've been doing is really building foundations. We have built a very strong foundation in every sector, and we continue to do that. In fact, that's why you find we are so hard-pressed to do more every day. We think we are not doing enough. The hurry is about making sure that we do whatever we can, train people, give them responsibilities, build institutions, so that when Kagame is not there, somebody will show up from all these people that have been trained, that have been doing these things. And for a simple fact, the progress we are making even in our country can't really be because of one reason or one person, even the president. No. It's because the president may be important, may be doing good things, but you need people to do their part as well. And I think the success is because every person is doing their part, and the president is maybe having sleepless nights pushing people to do things, but they do it. So, minus the president, somebody else will step in.
Thank you.
With the democracy, you see, the tricky part of it, especially in the context of our own countries, this is not going to be as we have experienced it, or maybe it will take time, that you are able to put it together by listening to people, the actual people on the ground, and saying, what do you feel? You know, if they tell you what they feel, there's a tendency to say, no, that's not what you feel. You know, you must be feeling this instead. This is really what we've gone through all these years. These Rwandans we're talking about, and where you're saying, can we have democracy? In many cases, for them, they even tell you, we really feel so, you know, it's like we are having too much of it. But somebody else will come and say, no, you are lying. You can't be there. So this is what the complexity I'm referring to. And therefore, I just want to dismiss the notion that it has to be happening on a basis of trade-offs. No, I just want to assure you that we need both. And it's not a clear-cut thing. It's not always going to be easy that you will know exactly what you are talking about.